Hope you're having a good week. We're halfway through. This is Wednesday, January 31st, last day of January. Wow, I thought it was just Christmas yesterday. The word for you today is to know God, examine what He has made. Romans chapter 1, verse 20 says, "For since the creation of the world, God's invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even His eternal power and Godhead, or divine nature, so that they are without excuse." So people are without excuse. What's he saying? He's saying that God has made Himself known to all people. It's not that God is in all nature. We can see God in nature, but God is not a flower, and God is not a rock, and God's not these things. But we can see God in nature. And as we look at nature, we can understand a lot about God. And what God is saying in this verse, it says, people say that they don't know about me. Well, they could know about me if they would just look around. So one way to get to know God is to look what He has made. The Bible tells us He has made everything. John chapter 1, Jesus said, John was writing, he says, "Nothing was made that has been made except that it was made by the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit." So let's look at some things that He has made and what we can learn from God. First of all, people. How could He make so many people look so different? You get a group of people together, and they all look different. How does that happen? It's totally incredible how He does that. Now, I know some people have resemblances, and even strong resemblances. But how can you take so many millions of people and they still look different from one another? You know, sooner or later, you start to run out of things to change. It's amazing. It's amazing. What does that tell you about God? He's unlimited. It's unlimited. Second thing, nature. Look at nature. We have the seasons. Some areas are hot all year, some are cold all year, but most areas there's a change in the seasons. There's colors. God could have made one color. He could have made everything gray. We wouldn't have known the difference, but He gives us all these different colors. Wow. Isn't that neat? Trees. So many different kinds of trees. Fruit trees, shade trees, just all different kinds of trees. Again, He could have made one tree. We wouldn't have known the difference. Animals. Enough said. Ever seen platypus, things like that? Hippopotamus? Oh my goodness. And how about the planets, the stars, the galaxies? What do these things tell us about God? Well, they tell us that He is a creative God, an imaginative God. Can you imagine making a giraffe, an elephant, a hummingbird, an ant? Goodness, goodness. And then there's the topographical landscapes. You have mountains, you have flatlands, you have deserts, icelands, rivers, waterfalls, oceans. We get to see this and we get to enjoy it. And when we see that, we know it didn't just happen. You know, some of these government parks, and they say, oh, this 61 billion years ago, this was, what a joke. What a joke. God created these things. And how old are they? I don't know. I don't really care. But I know this, we can't say how old these things are. There's no way to accurately measure that. But just enjoy it. Enjoy. Have you ever seen Niagara Falls? My goodness, the power of all of that water going, and it never stops. It doesn't take holidays. It doesn't take water. It doesn't take bad weather breaks. It goes all the time. The desert has a beauty to it. The forests, the mountains, the valleys, they all have a beauty to them. And God keeps it all in balance. He even provides ways to take care of it. Like, for instance, before man became so populated, a lightning strike would strike a tree, start a fire, and it would burn acres and acres and acres. You think, oh man, how destructive. Yes, but the next year, what happened? The green undergrowth came up. It burned all that undergrowth, all that thick stuff. And then fresh grass and fresh plants would grow up. And God was taking care of his planet. God's creative, all the different colors, sizes, all different things. He's powerful. Look at Niagara Falls. Look at the Grand Canyon. He's thoughtful. The seasons and how they take care of us. He's benevolent and he's caring. He provides for birds, these little birds flying around that don't have any place to store up things. But he takes care of them. You want to see what God's like? Look at the animal kingdom. Look, watch how a mother bird or a mother animal knows how to take care of its young. How do they know how to do that? How does a dog know how to round up livestock and all? God put that in them. Look at how God takes care of animals and birds and people. Take time, look at the world we live in and appreciate it and see God's handiwork and see what you can learn from God. There was a man and his son that went to some of the national art galleries in Washington, D.C. If you ever get a chance to go, it's a great place. They've got some great art galleries, all different kinds. The man was so excited to go and see them. His son was very decidedly unexcited. The man was, he saw things of such stunning beauty, and it brought him almost to the edge of tears. His son yawned, moaned, and complained his way through gallery after gallery. The man with every new gallery was enthralled. He just couldn't get enough of it. But each time we walked into a new art place, the son begged him to leave. The man was surrounded by glory. The boy and the man were surrounded by glory, but the boy saw none of it. He stood in the middle of wonders, but he was bored out of his mind. His eyes worked well, but his heart was stone cold. He saw everything, but he saw nothing. Let's not be like the boy. As we look at the sunrise, the sunset, even this time of year when the leaves are off of the trees, there are still some trees that have green on them. Imagine that. How God took care of things, each in its own season. Look at that and see. See what you can learn about God. Today, take time to look outside. Look at the trees, the grass, and see what that tells you about God. Have a good day.